Two teams so close to their dreams they could taste it. Nebraska and Alabama are just 2 wins away from the Champ Series. A critical winner's game on a Saturday night in OKC.
It's time for the greatest show on dirt.
I'm feeling fab, I'm feeling free, I feel exceptional.
The dirt is a diamond meant for shining bright.
Yeah, do a little swirl.
Where stars belong.
Her arm swing is iconic.
I can turn the dance floor into a runway.
Just knowing that everybody in our lineup was made for the moment.
In the center by Kuzak. It's over! It's Ava!
I can turn the dance floor into a runway.
Game face on.
A dominant start for Brisky.
Each person brings something different. We have speed, we have power.
Click, 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 click. I can turn the dance floor into a runway.
Stand tall, sprint, or slide with style. Walk, strut, and win. This is the Women's College World Series.
Welcome to the NCAA Women's College World Series presented by Capital One. Let's dance on the dirts. 4th seeded Nebraska, top seeded Alabama. Tennessee has already walked off Texas Tech. We know one team in the semis. We'll know 2 by the end of tonight. An epic start to the day with a walk-off, and we hope for an epic conclusion in the evening. Kevin Brown, 2-time All-American, Amanda Scarborough, Alyssa Lang on the field with us. Nebraska, the longest win streak in the country. Alabama, the #1 seed in the country. A game that feels like a title game.
Yeah, it does. And these two teams are, again, so evenly matched. We continue to see that at the Women's College World Series with all these teams. Everybody wanting to win a national championship. And when you look at the stats, they're so even. But for Alabama, they got an outing from Jocelyn Brisky against the best offense in the country whenever they played on Thursday night that made them roll into the winner's bracket. She had 9 strikeouts against a team that has over 200 home runs. She is the SEC Pitcher of the Year this season. Alexis Papillo and Brooke Wells did their thing at the plate. A couple of home runs after the 5th inning. Alabama came back. Brisky shut UCLA down. It has been the equation that they have used all season long.
A historic season for the Crimson Tide, the #1 overall seed for the 2nd time. But on the other side, Nebraska has made some history of its own. Jordy Fromm in her 5th and final college year, leading the Cornhuskers to a record 27-game win streak off a 10-inning walk-off win.
And she has pitched here multiple times now in her career. A couple of times with OU and now here with Nebraska. She looked fantastic in Hannah Core and Ava Kuzak. A couple of home runs on their own. Remember when we said that this was even? It's identical when you look at their first wins. A couple of home runs, clutchness from Core, the walk-off by Kuzak. Nebraska earned their right to be in this game, and they have a ton of history. But that was their first Women's College World Series win since 2002 and their first walk-off since 1982.
Since the 2nd game in the history of this event, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, the 4 seed, will take it into the batter's box first. Their starting lineup brought to you by Capital One. The walk-off home run hitter, Ava Kuzak, a Colorado kid, but played club ball in Nebraska. So she feels like one of the hometown Huskers. Her walk-off 2-run homer sent Nebraska to this game. A 5-3 win on Thursday over Arkansas for Nebraska. 6-3 win for UCLA over Alabama. And they bring back the SEC Pitcher of the Year, Jocelyn Brisky.
She looked so calm, confident, in command in her start against UCLA. Gave up 3 runs to them. All of them came in 1 inning with 2 home runs.
Here we go, Nebraska and Alabama, the 52-6 Huskers, the 55-7 Tide, and the National Player of the Year from takes a strike to start it against Brisky. 6:06 local time in OKC.
Ball out.
The loser of this game will have to play in the early game tomorrow against the defending national champion Texas Longhorns. The winner will play the winner of Texas Tech and UCLA on Monday night, needing just 1 win and a potential 2 to make it to the Champ Series. And Brisky, firing it at 71 early, is ahead of Fromm.
Yeah, Nebraska needs to be looking to hit early and often with the way that Brisky has pounded the zone this year. 70% strike rate, same thing with her first pitch strike rate.
Fromm with the dribbler out of play. The National Player of the Year in her 5th and final college season, Jordy Fromm, a 1.19 ERA, on the mound, a .411 batting average and an .811 slugging percentage in the batter's box. 6 for 21 in the tournament. And Jordy pops the ball up. Ambry Taylor, the third baseman, with a very vocal call and catch to start this game.
Jocelyn Brisky will go up, down, and change. Her changeup is a great pitch to be able to work into the aggressive hitters that Nebraska will show, trying to get to her early. She'll spin a rise ball up through the zone and get a lot of chase strikeouts. These are her 9 strikeouts against UCLA. Mostly with her rise ball. She leaned on that pitch a lot, and it was hit and miss in the sense that both the home runs that she gave up against UCLA were on her rise ball, but it was also her best chase pitch and her best swing and miss pitch against UCLA. So that is how that rise ball tends to be.
UCLA, the highest scoring offense in history, put up 11 yesterday. Brisky held them to 3, all 3 in the third inning. Hannah Core grounds the ball out of play. And the last time we saw Nebraska and Hannah Core, Hannah scored the winning run on the Kuzak homer in the 10th after tying the game with a 1-out home run in the 8th. It's been a special senior season for Core, who won 3 national titles at Oklahoma. And is much more of an impact player here. Was a bench player, defensive replacement, pitch runner, typically started 24 games. An important part of Patty Gasso's Oklahoma teams, but not typically an important hitter. Here's another 0-2.
Ball. You know what it's like at Oklahoma with all the athletes that they get. There's just a logjam there for a lot of underclassmen and sometimes upperclassmen that don't get a chance to become an everyday starter, and that was Hannah Core. Had only started 25 games in her 3 years at OU.
1-2 pitch. Core with a pop-up that will get out of play.
But I thought it was cool in the post-game press conference after the Arkansas game. Coach Ravel talked about Hannah Core and just her impact on this team as a leader. And she said when they got to Oklahoma City and stepped on this field for the first time on Wednesday, Rhonda had Hannah lead the way onto the field because she felt like it was important that she got to lead the way for this team.
Core flips one out to left field, and Audrey Vandegrift is there for the second out. Here's Hannah Kamenzen, Nebraska's number 3 hitter and designated player. Senior from Valley, Nebraska. And a slow ground ball right to the bag at third. It's another 1-2-3 first inning for Jocelyn Brisky. The Bama Bats against the right arm of Fromm when we return.
NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
The Alabama Crimson Tide starting lineup brought to you by Capital One. 55-7 the Tide. The first Alabama duo with 20 home runs each. Brooke Wells with the game winner in the 6th. Alexis Papillo the game tire in the 5th. On Thursday night, they are 2-3 for the Hall of Fame head coach Patrick Murphy in his 28th year. They'll face Jordy Fromm, who went the distance, all 10 innings in a win on Thursday night, striking out 9, walking only 1, and continuing one of the great World Series careers in softball history.
Now she's done it here in the regular season. I mean, she's done it at every month of the season in her career. She is one of the most, if not the most decorated player here at the World Series with her 2 national championships.
A most outstanding player at the World Series 3 years ago at Oklahoma. And begins this game up high to Jenna Young. Jordy Ball in the opening, or Jordy Fromm. There we go. I'm the first one to do it today. I owe a nickel. Was Jordy Ball. Got married. Now Jordy Fromm. 10 innings, a career high in that opening round win. 133 pitches, which is pretty efficient for 10 innings. Just over 13 pitches per inning. And Rhonda Revelle was asked, did you consider taking Jordy out of the game? And this is Rhonda's response in full. No.
Didn't even look like Alexis Jensen, the freshman, was even warm to go into the game. That was Jordy's game to win or lose.
And win she did. 2-0 for Young. What a great game Thursday. Jenna takes the low strike. Megan Rabin's got the plate in our nightcap. Young was 3 for 3, walked, scored 3 runs for the Tide on Thursday. Having a banner postseason. 10 for 21, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 2 walks. On base in all 6 games. And she swings and misses at strike 2.
It's a high heat that Jordy Fromm is going to be throwing against Alabama in this game, and it's going to be up to them to see that rise ball down. She wants Alabama to chase that pitch. It's her best strikeout pitch with her changeup. Her drop ball is her setup pitch.
Got a great 2-strike changeup going on Thursday. And she'll go with the rise here for ball 3. See the rise down. What's another key for Alabama today?
I think that honestly is the biggest thing, to take a rise ball like Young just did there and to pick a speed, not to get fooled by that changeup, to get on time with her drop ball more down in the zone.
3-2 for Young. Fouled away. Jenna Young in her 3rd college season. A 3-year starter, first 2 at Iowa. This season, her highest career slugging, her best power year in terms of extra base hits, and also her best year in terms of steals. Career 40 strikeouts, 79 walks. So she is very tough to dispose of. And she will walk to lead off the game for the Tide.
The 2 pitchers that we have in this game, Fromm and Brisky, a couple of conference pitchers of the year going head to head, are going to go up, down, and change. Rise, drop, change. They pitch very similarly. If I had to give the edge to a rise ball, maybe I'd give it to Jordy. If I had to give the edge to the drop ball, I might give it to Brisky. But that changeup is a pitch that they're both going to use. It's a pitch that looked really good against Arkansas in the opening round win. Got a lot of swings and misses.
2 first-team All-American pitchers. 2 pitchers with a similar repertoire. 2 pitchers that, as of last year, even had the same initials. But Jordy Ball marrying Trey Fromm, Nebraska baseball player, and now Jordy Fromm for her final collegiate year. And her catcher, Jesse Farrell, with a quick visit out to the rubber.
And I think with both of them being strikeout pitchers, you're going to see aggressive offenses swinging early in the count, trying to avoid hitting off of these pitchers with 2 strikes because they are some of the best in the game with 2 strikes at this level.
So I got my camera going.
Brooke Wells had the game-winning home run on Thursday, a 3-run shot in the 6th inning. And Wells takes a strike. She is within striking distance of the Alabama single-season home run record. She's hit 24. Kelly Kretschmann hit 25 in '98. Bailey Hemphill 26 in 2019. So she is alone in 3rd place. And she is hit. A walk and a hit batter. And a shaky start for Fromm as the Tide put 2 on for Alexis Papillo.
Very rare to see back-to-back free passes given up by Jordy Fromm, especially on this field where she's just been so locked in and strong. She even said in that first couple of innings against Arkansas, she said she was juiced up. She said early in the game, I was juiced up, just so much adrenaline running. I have a feeling that that same adrenaline is running here to start this one.
Rhonda Revelle out for a quick chat. That's Jordy's first leadoff walk of the season in her 22nd start. And then a hit batter after that. I'd say, can you believe that? But yeah, it's Jordy Fromm. You can believe anything we tell you. But Alabama's got her in a pickle early. And Alexis Papillo has been one of the breakout stars of the postseason. 2 doubles, 3 homers, 7 RBIs in the 6 games for Bama. Papillo goes up hacking. Strike 1. A second-year Alabama player, a transfer from Northern Iowa. She has homered in 3 straight games, both games in a super regional sweep of LSU, and a game tire on Thursday. First time this year, 3 straight with a home run. There's the change.
Well, Papillo is not scared to get right on top of the plate, too. If there's a side of the plate that Fromm likes to favor, it would be more toward her arm side, so outside to a left-handed hitter.
Patrick Murphy said she goes in with a plan, Papillo, and she sticks with the plan until she gets 2 strikes. And in a 2-strike count, she'll take a little high.
Well, and you could tell when she got to 0-2, she backed up off the plate a little bit, so gave herself some more space on the inner half. So she did make some changes in that 0-2 count. She'll go right back to it in this 1-2 count to not be on the plate as where she started. That's a great eye. That is a tough pitch to take. And if you are Lex Papillo, who likes to watch a lot of film, there's a lot of film out on Jordy Fromm from her career. I'm sure she's seen that rise ball up in the zone a lot of times in the film that she's watched, thinking about her at bat against her.
She's gone to the rise, back-to-back pitches, and now goes off speed. And Papillo has worked her way to a full count. Could it be a 3rd straight free pass to open the game? Fouled away out of the mid of Farrell. Remains 3-2 with Young aboard at second and Wells at first. And there is the SEC Coach of the Year for a 6th time, Patrick Murphy, whose Crimson Tide were picked 9th in the SEC and end up with the #1 seed in the nation. 19-5 in the league this year. Pitch number 7 to Papillo. Take strike 3. A Fromm freezer with a changeup to end it.
Well, Jordy Fromm worked from ahead, and Papillo wanted this rise ball. Look at this first pitch swing. That's the pitch that she wanted. Then she chased the change. Then she got herself right back into the count. Took some tough pitches, but 3 balls in a row. After that 0-2 count, fouled off another one. Then finally, Jordy located that changeup to strike her out. Different locations of that changeup than earlier in the count. Floated one through the zone and completely froze Papillo.
What a gutsy pitch call. What a great execution by Fromm, who gets a strike on the freshman Anna Roman. Strikeout number 244 in 182 innings. Roman to left field and foul, and she's down 0-2.
Definitely looks like there's a game plan with Rhonda Revelle calling pitches for Jordy Fromm early in this game. It's to hit that rise hard and heavy. She's able to throw it on multiple different levels. She's going to challenge Alabama to see that ball down in the zone, but a lot of rise and a lot of change early on in this game.
Roman strikes out for a 3rd straight time here at the World Series. Now 0 for 4. Back-to-back Ks for Fromm.
That changeup was so good the other night as well. Getting her way out in front and getting the chase. And when Jordy works from ahead, that's where she can throw that pitch. When she needs to locate it up and through the zone, like that full count changeup to Papillo, she can do that too.
Here's Marley Giles. First pitch swinging. Giles serves one to deep center and gone. The senior catcher ambushes the first pitch from Fromm. A 3-run home run and a breathtaking start for the top-seeded Tide.
It's a way to have your teammates back. Papillo struck out, and then Roman struck out after a couple of free passes. But Marley Giles going up, looking early in the count. We talked about that this is going to be a pitch that Alabama wants to hunt early. First pitch, home run off the bat at Giles, and she knew it. She is right on time. That was a mistake. A rise ball that did not get up enough, not enough on a corner, and she crushed it.
Just her second 3-run home run of the season, only her 7th home run overall. The 100th Alabama homer of the year. And a shock to the system of Jordy Fromm and Nebraska. 3-0 Alabama. 0-2 now for Audrey Vandegrift.
2 strikes.
The 2 free passes, the first time in Jordy's career. The first 2 batters have reached by walk or hit by pitch. Both come around to bite her.
Ball's out.
Jenna Young just continues to be a spark at the top of the order for Alabama, finding different ways to get on base. Seems like when she leads off and finds a way to get on, Alabama scores.
25th pitch of the first inning. 3 strikeouts for Fromm. 3 runs for Alabama.
Jordy's throwing a lot of rise balls early in this game, and when you're doing that, you have to be so careful because you leave one out over the heart of the plate. Someone like Marley Giles is saying thank you. Giles with a 3-run home run, and Alabama's got the lead.
Oklahoma City, where the Crimson Tide lead 3-0 after 1 inning. And when it comes to the star in the circle, Jocelyn Brisky is throwing with a confidence that she would tell you she didn't necessarily have a season ago. I talked with her head coach, Patrick Murphy, before the game. He said he had a meeting with her back in November where he said the only thing that is preventing you from being an All-American is you. He said she went to work on the mental part of her game, gave her all the credit in the world for that. She said so far this season, this is the most fun she has had playing the game of softball.
And look at those numbers, Alyssa. What a jump it's been. The ERA 2.99 down to 1.37. A first-team All-American, the 7th first-team All-American pitcher for Alabama. What a journey for Jocelyn Brisky, who had an amazing fall and has carried that over into the season. As she gets a strike on Ava Kuzak, we asked Patrick Murphy, when did you think this team might be special? And he said, the last day of fall ball going home for Thanksgiving. We were doing pitchers versus hitters. Basically a simulated game, live BP. And the hitters, who were pretty good, by the way, went 0 for 20 against Jocelyn Brisky. He said, I'm sitting behind home plate. It's 0 for 20, and it's not even close. And the last batter was Holly Brooks, a freshman who got a hit. And he said, I told Jocelyn afterwards she was mad to give up a hit and break up essentially the fake no-hitter. But that's when he felt like there was something special with this group and with this pitcher, who was off Amanda to a very special start.
Well, one of the things that Brisky talked about from last year to this year was the mental cascade. She said when things would go wrong last year, it felt like it would start to pile up. She said she really noticed a difference in the UCLA game a couple of nights ago. They had a 3-run inning. She came back and slammed the door after that.
Driven foul by Jessie Farrell.
Well, this is a big way that you could tell the difference, Alyssa, from that moment in the game. It could have gone one way or the other. You saw what UCLA did last night and how quickly they could put up a 9 spot against a Women's College World Series opponent. And Jocelyn Brisky just did not let that happen and let things spiral to get out of control. But one thing she told us on Wednesday that stuck out to me is that she was tired of hearing, you have all the potential. She went out this summer and actually did something about it. She went to work. She made a decision. She said last year she didn't have the year that she wanted to have and that she needed to fix some things.
To the left side, grabbed it short by Salem. Hawkins skips it in there, and Wells with a pick to retire Farrell. A double web gem. Hawkins and Wells combine for some mastery on the dirt.
That was 74 miles an hour off the bat, and Hawkins is still able to make this play. Alabama's defense has stepped up behind Brisky as well. And you mentioned it, the pick at first base. If that doesn't happen, this play, we're not replaying it. We don't talk much about it. It was a beautiful play.
Popped up by Sammy Bland, and after a 3-run tied first, Brisky with another 1-2-3 inning. 7 pitches to get through the Huskers' middle of the order. One of the special careers in softball, Jordy Fromm, a 2-time national champion at Oklahoma her first 2 years. Decided to come home, transfer to Nebraska, immediately tears her ACL and misses the entire 2024 season after the opener. But bounced back as a great two-way player, leading Nebraska 1 win away from the World Series last year. This year they finished the job, sweeping the regional and the super regional, and the Huskers are in the World Series for the first time since 2013. Had committed to Nebraska as a freshman in 2017 in high school. A couple of years later, flipped to Oklahoma, was the Gatorade National Player of the Year. But after 2 titles, return home And she said, Amanda, without that torn ACL, maybe things are different. Maybe Nebraska would have been in the World Series last year, but she felt like that reset year she needed was a blessing in disguise after the injury. She certainly bounced back just as strong, if not stronger than ever. Ambry Taylor down to third. That's a nice pick by Sammy Bland, but her throw skips away. And Taylor is aboard to start the second.
Sammy Bland had gotten a lot of action in their opening round game, getting tested here. This is another tough one. You see the spin on that, the angle of that backhand, but just can't come away with the throw. And we'll see where this leads, because remember the play by Salyn Hawkins is a lot like that. The bounce at first base, but Brooke Wells was able to catch it and get it out. Now we have a runner on.
Infield hit for Taylor as Hawkins says she was hurt. You hear Megan Rabin say, I did not have a hit by pitch. Hawkins is playing sandlot ball here. Call it yourself. And Patrick Murphy says, come on back. Obviously, Alabama can challenge this. Hawkins would certainly like to. Now Megan Rabin's talking to Rhonda Revelle.
Call on the field is that it was a ball to the batter. Alabama's charging that we have a hit by pitch. This is their first challenge and the play's under further review.
Your uniform move a little bit?
Ball. I did not have a hit by pitch.
I don't know.
I did not have a hit by pitch.
I don't see anything clear and obvious to me yet. And I think that Coach Revelle is also asking about the runner at first that advanced to second base, because it looked like Nebraska was playing that out and that Taylor was thinking that it was a hit by pitch. Going off of what Hawkins said, I think Rhonda Revelle wants an out because they tagged her before she got to second.
So the call on the field is no hit by pitch. And then what you're talking about is the interesting part of that, because if it's no hit by pitch, this is theoretically a live ball. And it's a really smart play by Jessie Farrell to throw down to second.
Time is out.
Now you could hear Megan Rabin say time is out, but time wasn't out until Taylor was right at the base. All right, let's bring in our rules analyst, Christy Cornwell.
After further review, the call on the field will stand of a ball to the batter. Plate umpire called time, therefore we'll put the runner back on first base. One ball to the batter. That's Alabama's first review. They have one remaining.
Okay, Christy, can you just clean up what we saw there?
Yeah, I actually agree with this call. So the batter took off thinking she was hit by the pitch. In the confusion, the plate umpire called time prior to the runner at first reaching second base. So they're doing the right thing by protecting the defense and putting that runner back on first base.
So even though, Christy, she was almost at the bag, that time can still supersede the entire way to the base that you're saying?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. So it's 1-0. Alabama loses the challenge. Taylor back to first. And now a bunt laid down foul by Hawkins. Feels like the common sense way to clean that up.
Yeah, I agree. And that is the right call when it's all said and done. And we got it right. In this bunt situation, Jordy Fromm's rise ball really comes into play, trying to get Hawkins to pop this thing up because she can throw it at multiple levels. She can spin that rise ball through the zone. Another bunt situation here.
And she lays it down to third, and Bland. We saw Arkansas really struggle to lay down a bunt. They couldn't do it against Jordy on Thursday night. Hawkins does, and she moves Taylor up for the number 9 hitter, Kristen White. Now, it's an interesting hitter to bunt to, because Kristen White is not typically a run producer. 200 career games, and she's only driven in 23 runs. But she is hitting .359. Typically a big-time slapper who knocks the ball into the dirt, tries to get on that way. Takes a strike. White has had a very good postseason. 7 out of 15, 2 walks, and reaching base in all 9 postseason games. If you go back to the SEC tournament, 7 of 15 to 2 walks in the NCAA tournament. Had a really strong tourney as a freshman 3 years ago. It's been in and out of the starting lineup a couple of times in her career, but will end it, it appears, in the starting lineup. Slaps this ball out of play.
When you can already see changes in the pitch calling from Rhonda Ravel inside the dugout for Nebraska. The first inning, Jordy was going heavy rise ball here in the second inning. Even in a more bunt situation, Jordy's going down to her drop ball more in this second inning.
White to third, caught by Bland, who looked at first initially. Had a chance maybe to double up Taylor, but her instinct took her to the other bag.
You could tell a little bit of confusion with that ball getting on her so quickly. Looked her back, then looked like she went one, but good base running there at second base by Taylor, not to venture off second too much to run herself into a potential double play.
So Jenny Young on base all 5 times at the World Series.
Ball's out.
They'll take one wide.
Just want to point out, that was another rise ball hit hard by Kristen White. This first time through, when Jordy's throwing that rise ball, it hasn't been as effective as likely what she would have liked for it to be the first time that Alabama is hitting against her. And used to getting a lot of swings and misses and chases, but they've had a really good approach first time through the order against her rise ball, trying to take that pitch away from her and making her try to go to something else.
Do you think anything is different about the pitch?
I don't think it's as sharp as what we saw a couple of nights ago. Her command isn't as sharp to me overall today. And then that changeup is just going to be key, because it's going to be the difference maker. If she didn't have that pitch, then it would be easier for Alabama just to hunt something at 70 miles an hour and stay on her drop or stay on her rise. But that changeup is going to be the pitch she continues to go to, and Alabama will have to figure out a way to deal with it.
Well, the shadows creeping into the box.
Ball's out.
Young takes ball 2. Fromm thought she had strike 3. Looked like the pitch was off the plate a little.
Now trying to sell it to the home plate umpire, pointing at Farrell, running off the field, selling it.
Freshman Taylor's at second on a 2-2. Jenna Young, who had a 7-pitch walk to lead off the game, will see at least 6 pitches here. And Alabama's already made Fromm throw 41 pitches. Remember, she was just over 13 pitches an inning in the 10-inning game against Arkansas Thursday. Over 20 pitches an inning to start here. Young with a slow ground ball to second. It's not fielded cleanly by Kamensen, but they will get Taylor at the plate. A little over-enthusiastic coming around third. Ambry Taylor is cut down, and Nebraska turns a mistake into a critical third out.
There was slight hesitation by Jordy Fromm going after this ball. She ended up pulling back. She's a Gold Glover as a pitcher. It bounces off of Kammen's end, but Bacon's got her back. And then the tag made by Farrell, who has been so strong back behind the plate. That's how you put a tag on. Great rebound by Nebraska on defense to save her on.
Deep drive. Back it goes. At the wall, Davis leaps and cannot get it. And Tennessee walks it off with a solo home run for Emma Clark.
Last year, the Lady Vols were walked off on by a Jada Coleman home run of Oklahoma. This year, they get the walk-off home run, their first of the World Series. Emma Clark, that drops Texas Tech into an elimination game tomorrow night. 7 Eastern, 6 Central on ESPN. Texas Tech, UCLA, and it'll either be Nigeri Kennedy, who's beaten UCLA at the World Series back-to-back years, ended their season 2 years ago as Stanford, or Caitlin Terry, who of course transferred from UCLA to Texas Tech. Terry was in the circle giving up the walk-off today. Texas Tech rallied a great slide by Tennessee transfer Taylor Pannell on a sac fly. Tied it with 2 outs in the 7th, but the Lady Vols survive. Brilliant pitching today by Carlin Pickens and Sage Margecko, and Tennessee, Amanda's 1 win away from the champ series.
Yeah, that was such a great game, and you just laid it out perfectly. This game, and then what we have coming up on Sunday and Monday with the Stars playing for their career and all the storylines. I mean, this is must-see TV coming up.
Texas Tech, I think, has captured the nation's attention in a lot of ways. Their high-scoring prowess, their high-profile players, obviously their high-profile transfers. They have, in many ways, embraced the role of the Black Cat, or the villain in this postseason. Taking down Florida in a very emotional series as Hoffman grounds out against Brisky here. And then you got UCLA, the 12-time national champs, best offense in history. Texas Tech is not that far behind them offensively, so maybe we'll get one of those 15-12 slugfest tomorrow night. Who knows? It'll certainly be Taylor Tinsley for UCLA. And the loser of this game has to turn around and play tomorrow afternoon against defending national champion Texas. So whoever it is, you've got 2 absolute home run matchups on tap for tomorrow. And after that, we'll have our 4 semifinalists set.
I think Texas Tech UCLA has the potential to be a high-scoring game, and both of those teams have played those in the month of May.
Ball.
And gotten here. You know, they're used to playing those games, scoring a bunch of runs, playing for their seasons. I don't want to get too excited about, you know, tomorrow night.
No, listen, we came into this World Series saying we've got this star-studded class, a lot of them seniors. And so many of them have performed at their best this week. Bella Bacon skies out to Kristen White in center. It's a junior leading the way right now. That's Jocelyn Brisky, who has gone 8 up and 8 down through the Nebraska offense.
She's been so steady, Eddie. And we talked about this in Thursday's game, but she might just be the most improved player from last season. More strikes, worked on her changeup, slowed it down a little bit, more chase rate. I mean, looking at her strike percentage last year was 59%. Now it's 71%. Her chase rate last year, 18. Now 35. She doubled it.
And it helps when you do that. First pitch strikes to every single Nebraska batter. And a second pitch strike to Laura Kaminski.
Yeah, and her drop ball is not a pitch that she came into Alabama with, but it is one of her best pitches. She was a rise ball pitcher coming in as a freshman, but her drop ball has been a pitch that she's worked really hard on, and it just falls off the table.
Ball.
Remember, against UCLA, went 6 up, 6 down before she allowed 3 runs in the third. 2-2 for Lauren Kaminski here. Twin sister Hannah's the 3-hitter. Both from right around Lincoln and Valley, Nebraska. Transferred back home from Arkansas last year together. And a good at-bat here by Kaminski, who's seen 5 pitches. 34th year for Rhonda Rovell. Her 4th trip to the World Series as head coach. Last was in 2013.
Ball.
Coach Rovell talked about that win against Arkansas and how razor thin the margins were. That it just came down to one team making one more execution, and that went to the side of the Huskers.
Brisky's first 3-ball count of the game, and she ends it with a strikeout. Got a chase. She's perfect through 3.
Jocelyn Brisky is just so smooth and so confident with the way that she is pitching in this NCAA tournament, bringing it back to OKC. Had a great start against UCLA, carrying that momentum against Nebraska.
That is, of course, Jordy Fromm, but now it is Jordy Fromm, first baseman. She leaves the circle. Number 98 goes over to first, and Nebraska's number 99, their star freshman Alexis Jensen, replaces Fromm after a couple of tough innings.
Doing the shimmy. That's the Alexis Jensen shimmy right there. First time pitching at the Women's College World Series, a freshman, and just a dynamic duo in the circle that they've had with Fromm and Jensen. Jensen will go down with her drop ball. That'll fall off the table there, and then she will spin the rise ball up in the zone and get chases with that pitch, but her changeup is nasty. She gets swings and misses and chases on that pitch about half the time she throws it. A freshman who has put up big-time numbers this year as a freshman, and she has pitched against some of the best in the country. Rhonda Revelle really challenged her this season. They played a tough strength of schedule in the non-conference, threw her into the fire early in the opening weekend, and she has not looked back, gained confidence every game she's pitched.
And that's as intimidating a look as you'll see. Got the sunglasses on, and some players will go with the eye black. He's got the full red face paint. The freshman in red and black in her World Series debut. Ball one to the powerful Brooke Wells. So Jordy Fromm leaves the circle after 2. Jensen is in the game. What do you make of this move by Rhonda Revelle?
I just didn't quite think that Jordy looked sharp, but I think it had a lot to do with Alabama, like we talked about, Kevin, taking away her rise ball early in the game. They looked prepared for Jordy Fromm, so Coach Revelle has had a ton of confidence in Alexis Jensen. Why not put her in and see how Alabama's at-bats look against her? Most likely they were preparing more for Fromm than Jensen, but it's going to be important, of course, for Jensen to find the strike zone here and pound the zone.
Most wins by any Nebraska freshman. Jenny Voss had 24 in 97. Jensen 25. And starts with a 4-pitch walk to Wells. We go down to Alyssa Lang.
Jordy was effusive in her praise of Alexis Jensen. We asked her, what have you learned from having her on your staff with you? She immediately said, she's so fearless. She reminds me to approach the game with that sense of fearlessness. She said it doesn't matter who we're playing, who's in the batter's box. She approaches every game the same, and I want to have that same type of fearlessness that Jensen has.
Well, because of that fearlessness, Alyssa, Rhonda Revelle had said early in the season that we began with the end in mind about their use of Alexis Jensen, saying that, they could have gone every start with Jordy against a top 25 ranked opponent, but how could you expect Alexis to be comfortable in big moments like this on the World Series stage if you didn't pitch her against a big team? So she had starts against Washington, Texas, LSU, Georgia, Texas Tech, and South Carolina to prepare her for this moment.
I mean, you're talking about Nebraska's February schedule right there. She was thrown as much into the fire as you can because Nebraska put together such a demanding schedule. Last year, they were the 10 seed despite a great year. Wanted to push to be a top 8 seed and host a super, which they did. As Jensen misses high, Alexis Jensen to Alexis Papillo. And Jensen has been just unstoppable in the postseason. Gets her first taste of the World Series. And a beautiful off-speed pitch, strike 2.
Well, and think about the message it would send to the rest of the team if they had not seen Alexis Jensen compete against those top-ranked teams the entire year. Thinking, oh my gosh, Jordy's not in the circle. Should we panic? Like, everybody starts to play a little bit more on their heels and get worried, but not with Jensen entering the circle because of that pitch. That changeup, it is going to be one of the best in the game, if not, if it already is as a freshman for her. Being able to mix speeds is incredibly important. That's a setup pitch with the change, and then she goes right back to it, almost in an identical location, just a little bit more off the plate to get the home run hitter, Papillo, way out in front of that pitch.
Here's a little bunt by Anna Roman. Fielded by Jordy. She throws it away to first base and start the merry-go-round. Pink to third. Gets a third of the way down the line and hustles back. The Gold Glove pitcher nationally, Jordy Fromm, throws the ball away at first, and at second and third, one away. Rhonda Revelle's out to talk about it, and she wants the umpires to come together.
Yeah, it's a tough angle. Jordy definitely did not tag her. I think potentially they're going to be asking about batter runner interference at first base with where Roman ended up touching the base. She looked like, to me, touched the white base instead of the double bag and could have made it very difficult for Kamenzen to catch the throw. So interference can be on her ability to catch the throw from the defender who's throwing it to her.
You could see in that last look, she cut inside at the end.
If the umpires subjectively feel like she got in the way of Cammonson being able to make that catch, then that could be runner interference.
It doesn't look like anything is going to change here. So Nebraska does not ask for an interference review. It'll be second and third, one out for Giles, who already has a 3-run homer. It's a good play by Anna Roman, who had been 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts here at the World Series. Blaze scored a sac bunt and then in E3, the error on Fromm. Giles, a first pitch, 3-run home run in the first, and a chance to really open the floodgates now. The senior from Clanton, Alabama, takes in the dirt for ball 3.
Yeah, that home run was on the first pitch. A Jordy Fromm-Ryan's ball that was just out over the heart of the plate, and Giles, being aggressive, knew it off the bat, threw her hands up. She knows what that feels like coming off the bat. Completely barreled up for a 3-run home run by the senior.
Takes a 3-0 changeup.
Seems like it's the only pitch that she can locate for a strike right now is that changeup.
Would you sit changeup if you're Giles?
Yes. Probably got to get it again. She comes in with the curveball that finally finds the strike zone. That's a good looking pitch right there, a little backdoor action. So she'll work that curveball. A lot of lefties do. Rise, drop, change, and a curveball that cuts across the plate.
Jensen looking for a 219th strikeout of her freshman year from 3-0. Giles lifts one to left field. The pinch runner Pate is ready to run. Here comes Pate to the plate. The throw is offline. Roman takes third on a sacrifice fly. A 4 RBI night for Marley Giles, and it's 4-0 Bama.
Great execution by Giles. It's like she deliberately uppercut at this changeup to deliver it to the outfield. Look at the angle that her barrel hits that pitch to try to get the bottom half of the ball. She immediately looks up, hoping that that fly ball is going to be deep enough, but it's the very bottom half of the ball for a sac fly. We saw her do it with the home run, and now great execution for another RBI.
Ties the season high 4 RBIs. Natalia Hill, the left fielder's throw is offline.
Ball.
And that's inside to Audrey Vandegrift. So an unearned run here charged to Jensen because of the throwing error on Fromm. Third 4 RBI game in the career of Alabama's senior Marley Giles.
Well, and this lefty-lefty matchup is so tough for the left-handed hitters and the Alabama lineup going up against Jensen. There's a much lower slugging percentage against the lefties off of her. They just don't barrel her up as much. Lefties are hitting about 30 points lower off of her than the righties.
Ball.
Roman at third. Alabama has a run against Jensen in the inning. Vandegrift will ground out to second to end it. An unearned run. A 4-0 Alabama lead with the top of the Nebraska order coming up.
Women's College World Series presented by Capital One, here with Nebraska head coach Rhonda Revelle. Coach, I just saw you talking to Alexis Jensen. What has been the message to her? What are you hoping to see from her?
Well, I just said you got your first inning of College World Series under your belt, so let's go out and have some fun. I thought she made some really good pitches, came up big, changeup looked good. She got some really good swings and misses off a very good offense. So, you know, you only have one time to have your first inning at the College World Series, and she's got that under her belt now.
What are you seeing from Jocelyn Brisky that you're telling your hitters?
Well, I've got our hitting coach telling our hitters, but I'm seeing a warrior out there, and so we've got a warrior for warrior with her.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
All right, Rhonda Revelle saying we got a warrior for warrior with her. Words of wisdom from the NCAA Hall of Famer. This is unprecedented for her team. 52-6 this year. First 58 games of the year, they never went 9 up, 9 down to start. But that's what Jocelyn Brisky has done. Jordy Fromm popped out to start the game. And Brisky has been uber efficient since. 34 pitches in the game. Only one 3-ball count and 25 strikes. And another first pitch strike. A swing and a miss by Fromm.
You know, last year in the NCAA tournament, Jordy had at bat after bat after at bat that she just continued to get on base. She was on fire in the Baton Rouge Regional and taking that momentum into Knoxville for the Super Regional. She was a big part of their offense and helped get them to the Super Regional. But it's interesting to look at her numbers, and they're not quite the same this year. No home runs, no RBIs for her compared to last season when they made it to Super Regionals against Carlin Pickens in Tennessee. She was a big part of their offense, but it goes to show you, I think, how strong this Nebraska team is 1 through 9, to be able to see that she has no home runs and no RBIs, and they still made it to the World Series as she strikes out here on a Jocelyn Brisky drop ball that just gets a chase, and that is that drop ball that falls off the table. That is a nice pitch.
Here's something amazing to tell you about Nebraska's struggles getting runners on for Fromm. You saw the 0 RBIs. 25 plate appearances for Jordy Fromm in the NCAA tournament. She's had the bases empty in 22 of those 25. Here's a tapper from Hannah Core to third, and the throw on the run is there by Taylor.
Well, that's not an easy catch for Brooke Wells at first base. With the sun setting, there's shadows going on, and Taylor trying to put a little touch on that throw to first base as she cuts across the field, but that throw goes from the shade to the sun, and right field and first base are really struggling with that, looking right into the sun. You see that Wells over there is just lit up bright because of it.
Fouled away by Hannah Kamenzen. Sometimes you'll see teams maybe try to bounce a throw when the sun's in your eyes. There's obviously no time there. And there's really no time for anything the way Brisky's pitching. Kamenzen, shallow left field. That ball falls foul in front of a sliding Vandegrift. 7 pitches, 7 strikes in the inning for Jocelyn Brisky.
Yeah, because of the amount of strikes that she throws and how quick she works, it just seems like Nebraska is getting sped up, moving really fast. Every time I look up, I feel like it's an 0-2 or 1-2 count. Brisky's in a groove again.
1 3-ball count and only 1 other 2-ball count in the first 12 hitters. Ball. Even the misses have some pop to them. Kamenzen rolled over to third base her first time. 9th time this year. Brisky's been perfect through 3. How about that? 3 more than any other pitcher in the country. The 2-2.
Ball.
The second best strikeout to walk ratio in the country for Brisky, only behind Belmont's Maya Johnson. Brisky and the tied-out dueled in regionals. Here's a 3-2. Fouled away.
Well, she's just not missing much over the plate at all. She just has learned to not give in. It's that mindset that Alyssa was talking about earlier. It's just this complete belief in all of her pitches, and also just her ability to trust herself to throw pitches through the zone, to be able to throw strikes and still not get hit with her movement. And I feel like she must, when you're hitting against her, it must feel like she's throwing a heavy ball, because we saw UCLA be behind her speed in the early innings, and I feel like still Nebraska is a little bit behind her, and she's hitting 70. We have harder throwers than her, but it seems like it gets on these hitters.
This ball's driven to center. Cammons had got on this one. A heavy swing and a Husker homer for Hannah. The first Nebraska base runner is a big one. Cammonsen's 9th of the season, snaps the perfect game, and puts the Cornhuskers on the board at 4-1.
This is the type of swing that sends energy throughout the rest of the Nebraska lineup and the rest of the Nebraska dugout. Look at her get on plane with this rise ball. 3-2 rise ball, probably would have been a ball, but she still goes up and gets it. 71 miles an hour off the bat, 234 feet over that center field wall. And that is an injection of energy that Nebraska and their fans here needed in a big way.
And you can hear him now.
Ball inside.
As Ava Kuzak takes the first pitch ball of the game. Cammonsen, who grew up with her twin sister Lauren, going to Husker camps. Scott Catholic High School in Omaha, and after 2 years in the SEC with Arkansas, another one of these transfers to come home to Nebraska, and her 4th career home run in the NCAA tournament has put a little energy into the Big Red side of the building. Lance McMahon, the Alabama pitching coach, is out for a chat. The Women's College World Series Championship Finals begin Wednesday night on ESPN, and these teams are trying to make it there. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all NCAA championships. Winner of this game will get a day off tomorrow and advance to Monday night. The winner of this game will be 1 win away from the championship series. We often talk about the importance of game 1, but game 2 statistically is maybe even more important to win. Down to third from Kuzak after the visit from McMahon. Nebraska gets its first base runner, and it's a home run from Hannah Cammonsen.
With her 9th of the year, Hannah Cammonsen finally getting Nebraska on the board with a solo home run. And it was a bomb way out of the reach of Kristen White, who did everything that she could, but 2-out scoring is a name of the game in the postseason, and that gives Nebraska some life.
Back here at Oklahoma City, Alabama with a 4-1 lead, joined now by Crimson Tide head coach Patrick Murphy. Coach, they hit a home run in that last inning. What do you say to Jocelyn when she gets back out there?
Well, they're the Big Ten champions, you know. They're a great team, a very good hitting team. I've been impressed with that all year long, but she's gritty. She came back, got the last one, and then she's going to do it again next inning.
What's the biggest difference with Jensen in the circle versus Jordy?
Jeepers, I mean, big time, lefty versus righty. Jensen's had a hell of a year. I mean, both of them are really good pitchers. We have to adjust to her changeup, I think. That's what's killing us right now with her.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thanks for being here.
Patrick Murphy, we'll see if the tie can adjust to Jensen's changeup. They get an unearned run against her in the third. Jocelyn Brisky retired the first 11 and 12 out of 13. And Marley Giles has driven in all 4, tying a career high for Bama. We had a note on the score bug there coming back from break, or the line score, that Alabama is 44-0 this year when leading by 3. Big uh-oh for Nebraska there. And Alabama all-time at the NCAA tournament is 97-3 with a 3-run lead. Last time they blew such a lead, right here at the World Series 2019 against Florida. Ambry Taylor out of play 0-2. Right to her head coach.
That stat this year specifically is because of their pitching staff. I mean, Alabama has had one of the best pitching staffs behind Tennessee in the country. And we've seen a lot of Jocelyn Brisky, but you can't forget that Vic Moten, a freshman, just like Jensen, is waiting in the wings if Alabama needs her. And she's been electric. Really explosive rise ball as Jensen gets a check swing to go her way again on a changeup that Coach Murphy was just talking about. That changeup has been giving Alabama fits since she entered the game.
Salem Hawkins sack bunter first time. And here comes a meeting in the circle. Rhonda Revelle, 34th year head coach. Her associate coach, by the way, Lori Sipple, in her 37th year. And Alexis Jensen this year set the Nebraska freshman strikeout record, breaking the record previously held by Lori Sipple in 1985.
She and Rhonda Revelle have been together a long time, as well as Diane Miller, who's been with them about half the time.
18-year assistant.
Ball.
The Cornhusker Stadium renamed on Senior Day this year. In fact, Bolin Stadium is now Rhonda Revelle Field at Bolin Stadium in honor of the winningest head coach in any sport at the University of Nebraska.
Ball out.
She said that she didn't just have zero idea, I had sub-zero idea, and said to the players, I'm sorry, your senior day was hijacked by a senior citizen moment. But a wonderful, wonderful gesture to recognize one of the great leaders ever at Nebraska, who's got one of her great teams ever. And Hawkins pops out to Fromm. 2 up, 2 down for Jensen in the 4th.
Well, she's just always been so humble, and she has seen Nebraska through every decade, the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, the 10s, and now the 20s. And it's pretty cool to get to be around a program that long and so impactful, and it's just one of the greats. And that field getting named after her just feels right.
Trying to become the 4th former player to lead their alma mater to a national title as a head coach. Sue Enquist, UCLA, Kelly Inouye Perez, UCLA, and Heather Tarr at Washington. They've got some digging to do today. Well, this has been a much better inning for Nebraska. The Camdenson homer and 2 quick outs for Jensen.
Ball out.
Just outside to Kristen White, 1-1.
She's still just trying to figure out this curveball, both her back doors, so that would be on her arm side, and then just her one that cuts across the plate on her glove side, just working the edges. Doesn't want to come too much on the plate. She's spotting it well, but needs to spot it for a strike.
Yes.
A 1-2 pitch. On the ground to shortstop. Kuzak throws it away. And White beelines for second. And then the throw gets into left. White was already on the dirt. Some surprising follies for a usually very strong Nebraska infield.
It is surprising. It just seemed like it'd be a quick play for Cusack. She rushes her throw, knows she has to get rid of it because of the speed of White, but Fromm can't keep her foot on the bag while she tries to stretch for it. You could see that left foot was more toward home plate, and a late stretch lets that throw get by her, and now you have speed in scoring position.
Kuzak's 11th error of the year, back-to-back innings with a Nebraska error. And a line drive is going to make him pay from Jenna Young. White's in to score. Young continues a perfect World Series. 7 plate appearances, 7 times on base. Bama gets the run back.
Coach Murphy had said about Jenna Young, she likes to work the count and battle with 2 strikes. And here, she doesn't work the count. She likes this curveball that Jensen leaves out over the plate. That is a mistake. She's working to bring that curveball more on the plate like we talked about. She was missing off and needed to come in with an early strike, and Jenna Young was just right on top of it.
What a player she has been for Alabama. What a World Series. 5 out of 5 now with 2 walks, 4 runs scored, 12 at 23 with 3 walks here in the NCAA tournament. Patrick Murphy said everybody has an intangible they bring to him. Her intangible was, I will bring a competitive, confident persona to everything I do. A player who had a coaching change, the staff at Iowa, came to Alabama, and has ended up at the top of the lineup card late. Check swing by Wells. That will end the inning. Another unearned run and an answer back for Alabama.
Alabama continues to capitalize on the free passes, the walks, hit by pitch, the errors that Nebraska is having on defense. Could have been out of the inning, but instead it is an Alabama run, and they have scored in 3 different innings. Jocelyn Brisky has just given up the 1 hit. She has looked sharp tonight, looked sharp at the Women's College World Series, with the exception really of just 3 mistakes that she has made that have led to home runs. This rise ball that she has thrown has missed the plate at times. To Riley Slant, Megan Grant, a couple of left-handed hitters, back-to-back home runs that she gave up against UCLA, and then another left-handed home run off of a rise ball by Cammonson, which is the only run of the game that has given Nebraska a little bit of life. But that rise ball by Brisky, high risk, high reward. Nebraska's going to continue to need to find some mistakes that Brisky offers. And if they see a rise ball out over the plate, it could lead to more hits, extra base hits, and runs for them to get back into this game.
Jesse Farrell, who has good power, will lead off this 5th inning.
Ball.
Is that the same philosophically for right-handers? Because Nebraska has a couple of powerful lefties, but 7 righties in the lineup.
Yeah, it was interesting to see that all of the lefties had been the ones that had hit home runs, because coming into the World Series, righties actually had more extra base hits off of Brisky than lefties.
Farrell, the right-hander, high in the air, but playable in left center, and then it pops out of Vandegrift-Smith. Alabama gives a free base runner back, a near collision between Vandegrift and White.
Seen a lot of close calls in this game, and today Vandegrift has her arms out. She's calling it, but you know what? So is White, and it seems like they were both calling it over and over and over again. And as somebody who's not the center fielder, you call it one time and listen for the center fielder to call it multiple times to call you off, because if you're both talking at the same time, you can't hear each other. So a mistake now on the Alabama side that Nebraska has to find a way to capitalize on. Jesse Farrell's like, whoa, I thought I was out. Good hustle by her to get to second base and not pout and just end up at first.
The ruling is an E8. Like that hit Vandegrift's glove, the left fielder. I mean, you give it an E7.5, but it's an error either way. Often, by the way, Lauren Johnson, the senior, is in left field late in games for Alabama. She's not right now. Larissa Pruitt, that has been changed to an E7. Larissa Pruitt's been in right field the last couple of innings. And Patrick Murphy will often make this change with a lead or late in the game. Vandegrift's due up 4th in the 5th inning. He hasn't made that change at this point. So if Lauren Johnson's in there, played a lot more with Kristen White in her career, it's likely a different result. As it stands, Brisky has to work through the first leadoff runner of the game against Sammy Bland, and Bland fouls an 0-2 away. These are two great defensive teams, too. Alabama's 11th in the country in fielding percentage, 2nd best in school history. Nebraska's right behind him, 14th. 3 errors now combined. Bland out to right field, and there is Pruitt. The right field replacement makes the catch as Farrell gets 3rd.
And that's that rise ball again that we showed you with the home run. This time it was a right-handed hitter and Bland squared it up. That was a good swing, and they got to advance a runner 60 feet. But Brisky's going to have to be careful with that rise ball here late in the game. Potentially going to see more drop and more changeup here as we move on after a couple of these swings look to be right on her.
And if there's any hitter you want to be careful against, this is the one, a left-hander with power, Casey Hoffman, and right on cue, she gets a changeup. Two lefties in the lineup. Cammonson homered off that rise ball. And now Hoffman, who's only got 4 home runs, but has some of the best raw power on the team.
Well, we talked about all the different ways that Brisky has improved, and I think that we could probably find 100 more. But one that stuck out to me was her improvement with runners in scoring position. Last year, hitters hit 255 off of her with runners in scoring position. This year, just 141 and only 2 extra base hits.
Down to shortstop, caught on a line by Hawkins. And Farrell left stranded for the moment at 3rd. Tomorrow, 2 Eastern, 1 Central. ESPN has the WWE's Clash in Italy. Catch the first hour live here on ESPN. Stream the entire event on the ESPN app with an ESPN Unlimited plan. Alexis Jensen, the pitcher, will bat. Grounds the ball toward the middle, fielded at second by Young, and she makes the play. Jenna Young with a run-scoring hit in the 4th and a play to take away a run in the 5th. Serves one to deep center and gone! A 3-run home run and a breathtaking start for the top-seeded Tide. They thought she'd be the catcher of the future when she came to Alabama as a freshman, was behind the great Allie Shipman. She's the catcher of the present 3 years later, Marley Giles. Her family got a home run ball on the 22nd homer of Giles' career, and the most significant, perhaps. He's hit a couple of big ones in postseasons. This one made it 3-0 in the 1st in a winner's bracket game. The loser has a short turnaround before playing Texas tomorrow afternoon, 3 Eastern, 2 local on ABC. The winner a night off, and the winner will play Monday night against either Texas Tech or UCLA. Giles due up 3rd in this inning. It'll be Alexis Papillo to start. Some seniors who made a significant impact. Marley Giles 4 years here at Alabama. Papillo for 2 years, but what a 2 years it's been. As she fights off strike 2. And 3 seniors here because Larissa Pruitt is the on-deck hitter. Came into the game defensively for Roman. Alabama returned 13 players. Right now they only have 4 seniors in the lineup, including Pruitt. 3 of them due up in this inning against the freshman Jensen. Senior class that had to help kind of rebuild this program. I'd say rebuild is silly. They were in the World Series 2 years ago, but by Alabama standards, 10-14 and 12-12 the last 2 years at the SEC. Scraped into Oklahoma City a couple of times. This year they were a wrecking ball. 55-7. The highest win percentage at the moment in Alabama softball history.
It just felt different with Alabama, with a complete team and Gross in every area in the circle on defense, and the way that they've swung the bat. They have just been like the Alabama of old. Remember when they won a national championship back in 2012?
Pillow lost her bat on that 3-2. What similarities do you see between the 2012 champs and this team?
A lot of stats that you can look at in terms of home runs, but I think the way that this team has played together. Here's their stats from 2012. compared to this year. Better ERA with Moten and Brisky taking the bulk of the load. Similar records, similar home runs. Remember, that was the SEC's first national championship.
Papillo down looking as Jensen strikes her out for a second time.
Both of her strikeouts against Papillo have come on the changeup. In fact, all three that Jensen have had in this game have been with the changeup, a little bit off the edge. She gets the call. Got to protect with 2 strikes. Papillo thinking that that one would not get called. Caught the edge.
Here's Larissa Pruitt.
And that's the other thing. You could talk about the stats, but that 2012 Alabama team had great team chemistry. They just were so tight-knit, connected, believed in each other, and you could feel that at the Women's College World Series with Kayla Bro being one of the leaders on that team, now the first base coach and assistant coach here at Alabama. But you also feel that with this Alabama team as well. Just unity, and the seniors who may have played more earlier on in their career giving way and being great teammates to the starters on this year's team, even if they're not getting as many starts.
One of these kids you're talking about right here, Larissa Pruitt, who was a second-team All-SEC player as a freshman. Part-time starter as a sophomore, starter last year. This season she lost her places. Only started 5 games, but she's played in 52 off the bench. Strikes out looking. That changeup is a beauty for Jensen.
And I think that it's so important that Rhonda Revelle got Alexis Jensen into this game, playing the long game, getting her some experience, and of course she has so much belief in Jensen. But with what's at stake, a lot of games left in this tournament, why not throw her out there? You're down by a few runs, not feeling as much pressure in a close game, knowing that she's going to be a big part of Nebraska's run here moving forward.
Marley Giles has driven in a career-high tying 4. Giles has now homered in each of Alabama's last 3 World Series as a freshman, a sophomore, and here as a senior. At the .384 batting average, her first 3 years combined, Marley was at .271. Jensen has found a groove against her and these Crimson Tide bats.
I'm just feeling like Nebraska's really quiet on defense. I felt like this the whole game, and I'm thinking maybe this Jensen inning can fire them up. You look around, and usually they're talking, they're moving more toward each other, and it just seems like Nebraska in this game has been playing a little bit on their heels, maybe a little bit tired. I don't know, just a little bit sluggish. But if Jensen strikes out the side here, this could really invigorate this Nebraska team.
And she strikes out the side. That's a big red roar we haven't heard for most of this afternoon and evening.
If I'm a pitcher and I just did that on this stage as a freshman, I'm looking at my teammates in the eyes saying, guys, let's go. We still have outs left. We are down by 4, but we can get right back into this. Follow my lead.
We caught Devon Park at the right time here. A beautiful golden hour look of this fantastic field and complex for the 44th Women's College World Series being hosted right here in Oklahoma City. And Jocelyn Brisky trying to pitch Alabama to the semifinals. Last year an up and down season, and late in games it was mostly down, but she has turned into an absolute crusher in the late innings this year.
And that right there, that number is why she has 16 complete games entering this one.
Has started 26, has completed 16 of those. And a strike to Lauren Kamens. And look at the pitch count right now, 62 for Brisky as we hit the 6th.
Just going right at these hitters, consistently finding herself in pitchers' counts, working from ahead. That is the name of the game.
Only 2 base runners, a home run by Hannah Kamens and then an error. No walks, no hit batters, no walks in the World Series right now in 12 innings against UCLA and Nebraska. UCLA 11 runs a game, Nebraska 7 runs a game. Not a single solitary walk handed out by Jocelyn Brisky.
Ball's out.
Huskers are going to have the top of the lineup for a 3rd time coming up here. Fromm and Core. Anybody gets on Hannah Kamens in. One more chance for the hefty hitters against Brisky, who gets another strikeout of Lauren Kamens in the 4th K for Brisky.
Yeah, she's been going away for her strikeout in this game. She has 4. Look at her try to paint this outside corner, drop, rise, and then being able to go down with her drop too. And then this last one, number 4, was also on the outer half to these right-handed hitters. And the Nebraska order another rise ball there, the low rise.
Ball. Down and in.
Jordy Fromm has had a difficult night. 2 innings, 3 runs in the circle, a throwing error at first, and an 0 for 2 game at the plate. She tries to bunt her way on. The USA Softball Player of the Year has just not looked quite right from the start today.
Just a different look about her presence and the look in her eye. You've seen her compete on this field so many times. You're used to seeing this different intensity. She is such a fierce competitor. She's so intentional, and maybe one of her worst games that she's ever had here up to this point. She has a chance to turn it around right here.
The most outstanding player of the World Series 3 years ago, hitting for the first time, but she's only 1 for 7 as she swings and misses again. Good drop off from Brisky. It's 2-2.
Just being methodical on that outside corner to these right-handed Nebraska hitters. She's likely to go back to that spot again.
2-2 pitch. Got a piece. Go back to February 15th against Texas Tech. That is the last time Jordy Fromm did not reach base. 47 games in a row. One of the many reasons why she's the National Player of the Year. She's 0 for 3 tonight. Brisky has carved her up. A couple of Ks of Jordy. It's been the Jocelyn show in the circle.
And she has just not picked up, Jordy hasn't, this drop ball against Brisky. Right at the knees, even a little bit more on the plate than when she was working the outside corner against her and just painting. Throws it through the zone, great drop on it, and Jordy swings over the top of it.
First pitch, Hannah Core into shallow center, and Young drops the ball. Another Alabama mistake as Core ends up at second. 2 of the 3 base runners for Nebraska have reached on errors.
Now, Jenna Young had to go a long way, and White was playing so far back. I'd like to have seen White call her off. It was in the air for a really long time. She's right there. That's a much tougher play for Young, who clearly she looked, as soon as the ball hit her glove, she's looking down to see where White was, if she was going to run into her, and distracted her from making that play.
8th error of the year against Young. 2 errors for the Tide tonight, and Patrick Murphy's going to bring the outfield into this meeting.
Well, and likely he's going to tell Kristen White to take control of the outfield. You can see this is trying to be loud while also covering up his mouth, probably also talking about the crowd and how big it is. And we have to be louder. We have to communicate. There's 12,000 people here. It's going to be a buzz around the stadium, even when there's nothing going on. But when the ball is put in play, there's the oohs, the ahs, and you have to be louder.
So here's Hannah Camenzind, who homered her last time. Ball 1. One more of those. This could get really interesting.
It could, and that's why she's not going to see a rise ball in this at bat. She's going to see changeup. She's going to see a drop ball after hitting that rise ball out of the park in her last at bat. Ooh, went right back to it with a swing and miss. I know. A little bit of giddy up on that one too, but I think still, if she goes up, she has to go up pretty high, trying to get it above the letters.
75th pitch for Brisky. Up and in for a strike. She's fearless, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. She knows exactly where she wants to put these pitches. That's how much confidence Jocelyn Brisky has.
That's McMahon, her pitching coach.
Ball.
Down and in for ball 2.
Snapping off these pitches, going a little bit up, going a little bit down with that drop ball, not getting the call.
Trying to finish off 6 strong here in the winner's bracket at the World Series. In the dirt. Stopped somehow by Giles. His score stays at 2nd.
I think Brisky going back to that rise ball tells you everything about her mindset. Understanding that she made a mistake against Camenzind. It wasn't her best pitch, but she still believes that she can go back to that pitch.
And she strikes her out looking. Got the call at the knees. Camenzind homered on a 3-2 pitch in the 4th. Brisky vanquishes her on a 3-2 pitch in the 6th.
That 3-2 pitch was a rise. This time she goes with the drop, and she freezes Camenzind with a runner in scoring position and lets out an emotion we do not normally see from Brisky.
NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Home run ball to the Camenzind family. That's the one Nebraska run today. It's a 5-1 lead for the top-seeded Crimson Tide as we hit the bottom of the sixth. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough back with you. Softball fans knew what a star Jocelyn Brisky was, but a national stage has gotten to find it out this week.
Well, to win a national championship, you have to have a strong mindset, and you usually see it, your pitcher leading the way in the circle. And with what Brisky is doing, rebounding from mistakes, I'm impressed. I mean, she is showing the type of mentality to win a national championship with the way that she makes some mistakes, but it just does not get to her. This mental strength that we're seeing from Jocelyn Brisky in her junior year is definitely a sight to behold. She has been absolutely fantastic.
Did you say fantastic?
Mm-hmm.
Type of intelligence, too. Try to cool down there. 82-degree day. It feels a little warmer than that. Lauren Johnson's first at-bat of the game. A strike from Alexis Jensen. Remember, if the result holds, Nebraska and Texas play an elimination game tomorrow, 4 versus 2 at 3 Eastern, 2 local. That game will be on ABC. And Alabama would roll into the semifinals on Monday. The one semifinal team we know, the Tennessee Lady Volunteers, they have made the World Series 10 times and never won the title. Johnson a pop-up. Second baseman Lauren Kamendsen. In fact, 2 of the top 3 teams in terms of World Series appearances without a title are here. Oklahoma State's not. They've made it 12 times. Tennessee 10 times. Nebraska 8. And had Nebraska won this game, they still could. It's not over. You'd have the 2 teams with the longest offers in this field in the semis. But the Cornhuskers going to need a heck of a rally. As it stands, the 2 2-0 teams would be 2 teams out of the SEC. Most appearances without a title, that's into the year. So Tennessee and Nebraska, you can add 1 to those if they don't win it here.
Ball.
Oklahoma State lost, of course, to Nebraska in Super Regionals. Alabama, its 16th World Series. They're only 1 for 15. Won it in 2012. They've made 5 of the last 7, but they haven't been a serious contender since they made the semis in 2021. They were 2-0 that year, but they lost 2 to Florida State. Embry Taylor, an infield hit in the game. Freshman out of the 7th spot. Shows bunting against Jensen. And pulls back to miss strike 2.
I think the most surprising part of this game to me is the free passes and mistakes that have come around to score. And with the way that this game started, a walk and a hit by pitch, which has just been so uncharacteristic for Jordy Fromm, who got the start. Put a couple of runners on, and then the home run was hit. And that, to me, kind of set the tone of this game for Nebraska. Free passes, continuing to score, errors on defense. Just, I don't know, they just have not looked the same in this game.
4 of the 5 Bama runs, to your point, runners who reached on a walk, a hit by pitch, and an error. And then the Giles home run. Boy, Jensen has just been ripping through tight hitters here. 4 Ks on the last 5 and 2 down. ESPN is the home of MLB.TV. Stream every out-of-market game live or on demand using the ESPN app. Blackout and other restrictions apply. For more information, go to ESPN.com/MLB.TV. A pinch hitter here for Patrick Murphy. Mary Hubbard is going to bat for Salyn Hawkins. Hubbard had a pinch hit home run at Tennessee earlier in the year. And Hubbard takes a strike. 7th inning, it'll be 4-5-6. Kuzak, Farrell, and Bland for Nebraska against Brisky. Kuzak, the walk-off home run on Thursday night, will just be trying to get on base here, as Hubbard is now 6 for 7 as a pinch hitter this year.
I think Nebraska is going to feel really good about this relief outing by Alexis Jensen and just getting her some experience on this field in front of this crowd and kind of playing the long game here with a Fromm-Jensen combo, just one of the toughest duos that we've seen in the country in the circle the entire year.
Ball.
Ronda Reville certainly wasn't conceding the game, taking out Jordy Fromm, but I imagine part of the reason was you want to get Alexis Jensen some World Series experience, knowing either you're going to have to play tomorrow or if you come back, you play on Monday, but she knows they are not going to go all the way with just one arm. And there is Fromm tagging out White to end the inning. Alabama 3 outs away from the semifinals. The middle of the Cornhuskers order will try to stop them.
Pitcher there, Jocelyn Brisky, has been spinning her rise and spinning her drop, tunneling her pitches so well. Tunneling, meaning imagine a tunnel from her hand to the catcher. Sometimes the pitch is going to go down out of that tunnel and sometimes it's going to go up. And as a hitter hitting against a pitcher that tunnels like Jocelyn Brisky, it is a thing of nightmares because she has such great command of the rise, of the drop, and really hasn't even had to throw her changeup that much. 38 strikeouts in the NCAA tournament and just 2 walks.
Her strikeout to walk ratio is about 9.5 to 1 on the year. Try 19 to 1 against some of the best in the game. A strike to Ava Kuzak here. Pitch counts at a rather economical 79 as well. Maybe she was a little overshadowed coming into the tournament just because of the experience, the spotlight some of these big pictures have had. Nyjah Candy's been here 4 years. Carlin Pickens has been here a bunch. Jordy Fromm's won a couple of titles. Down to second base and Young. You could understand maybe if Jocelyn Brisky was flying a little under the radar. 2 more outs, she will not be flying under the radar.
Yeah, not at all. And it was that decision that she told us that she made this summer, that she wanted things to be different. She felt like she put everything together in the fall. And she said, too, you know, I had to be a better person. I had to stop letting things fester, become more self-aware, and be selfless. And she also said, too, you know, I've been trying to have more fun this year, but a lot of the introspective moments that she has had to become the pitcher that, and having the year that she has had this year.
That was something really honest. She said that there were times last year where it wasn't a lot of fun anymore. And it looks like it's as fun as can be right now. Not only the conviction with which she throws, the pace at which she works. Rip it and rip it. Down and in to Jessie Farrell. It's only the 5th first pitch ball to 23 batters in the game. Farrell, fly ball, foul ground left field. Johnson crossing the line makes the catch, and there are 2 away. 0 for 3 for Farrell, and you look up and down the score sheet for Nebraska. There have been 2 errors, no hit or no walks, and only 1 hit. That Kaminson home run.
That's the difference. Both teams have committed a couple of errors. Nebraska has been able to capitalize on it.
Bland into center, and Alabama is headed to the semifinals. The Crimson Tide with their 4th one-hitter in the last 6 games. A Jocelyn Brisky gem on the sport's biggest stage. And Alabama is 1 win away from the championship series. They'll try to get there on Monday night.
Doesn't even look like she broke a sweat out there either. I mean, just going right at these hitters, working quickly, continues to throw her best on the biggest stage. And she said she wanted to have more fun this year. Well, winning is a lot of fun. Winning on this field is the most fun. And that's what Jocelyn Brisky continues to do and lead this Alabama team.
A tough night for Jordy Fromm, removed after 2 innings and 3 runs allowed. Has her 47 game on base streak snapped at the plate, striking out twice, and she committed an error. Nebraska will have to have a short memory. They're going to play Texas tomorrow at 3 Eastern. Time for our Capital One rewarding performance. Who else could it be but Jocelyn Brisky?
It's got to be her. It starts and ends in the circle. You set the tone in the circle as a pitcher. We saw on the other side work against Jordy Fromm with a couple of leadoff free passes. And then on the other hand, Jocelyn Brisky with a 3-up, 3-down first inning, setting the tone the whole game.
Let's hear from her with Alyssa.
Jocelyn, it felt like you had such command in the circle. What went into that performance for you tonight?
Yeah, just trying to trust my defense out there. I felt like we had some really great plays. Jen at second, Salem at short. So just trying to roll some ground balls, throw a little bit more drop heavy today, and I feel like we executed the plan awesome. You threw just over 80 pitches in this entire game. How are you able to be so efficient? I think it just starts with throwing first pitch strikes, and I feel like that's something I've kind of been able to fall back on all year, is just get ahead of batters, 0-2, 1-2 counts, stay in pitchers' counts, and I feel like that's where I'm most successful. You've talked about how much you've worked on the mental side of your game, how much fun you're having out there. Take us inside what some of that work looked like to be able to perform like this on this stage. Yeah, last season I had a long talk with my coaches and my family, and I knew that there was a lot that I could work on to be better for my team out there. And so that was my main goal in this offseason, was just do everything I can to be better for my teammates. And I feel like I was able to work on a lot of things mentally, take my time more out there, learn to just breathe and stuff like that, and it's just paid off this year. Your catcher, Marley Giles, was responsible for 4 RBI tonight, including that big home run. What did you see from her when she stepped in the batter's box? Yeah, Marley is just awesome. She has been my catcher for the past 3 years, and it's just going to be so sad when she's gone. But she is a true team captain. I mean, she is a competitor. She is a fighter out there. I mean, there is no one else that I'd rather go to war for than Marley. This team revolves so much around Mudita and cheering for each other. How have you done that, and how has this team done that so far on this stage? Yeah, I feel like each one of us, we understand our roles and we buy into our role, and I think that's just the best way that we can be the best teammates that we can be. Everyone kind of understands what their job is, and everyone buys into it immediately. Whether it's cheering your loudest on the bench or being a defensive replacement, whatever it is, everyone just does it with a smile on their face, and it's just so awesome to be able to play with teammates that just buy into whatever you ask them to.
How did you recover yesterday, and now what's the plan for the next 24 hours to come back here on Monday?
Yeah, I got to just hang out with my family yesterday, kind of just relax. They're all here from Arizona, so just hang out with them, and we're going to celebrate tonight and kind of just rest for sure tomorrow.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Go celebrate.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Jocelyn Brisky holds Nebraska to 1 hit. Second time all season that Nebraska has been held to 1 hit. And oh, by the way, that snaps the longest win streak in the nation. The Cornhuskers had won 27 in a row, and now they are going to an elimination game tomorrow, 3 Eastern, 2 local on ABC. Nebraska and Texas, the first elimination game. Texas Tech, UCLA in the nightcap of the second. The semifinals, the 2-0 teams are set. Tennessee and Alabama, 2 teams out of the SEC. The Crimson Tide, the 1 seed, maybe didn't have the flashiest, the biggest names in the field, but outside of a couple of errors today, they have played some of the best all-around softball, maybe the best here at the World Series through 3 days.
You know, we talked about Jocelyn Brisky setting the tone in the circle, and the game really does revolve around the pitcher and the energy that they set, but the offense revolves around the leadoff hitter. And how about Jenna Young and the way that she showed up at the Women's College World Series? She reached base again. Every single AB that she stepped up, I continue to be wowed by her and just how well this Alabama team is playing together. Somebody different continues to step up.
16th trip to the World Series for Alabama. Won the title in 2012. You wondered, is this going to set off this new dynasty in the sport? And they've been at the World Series time and again since then. This is one of the most serious contenders they had. Again, picked 9th in the SEC now. They'll need to win just one of a potential 2 games on Monday night.
Well, you heard Jocelyn Brisky talking about the roles and the buy-in from every member on the team, and that's something that 2012 team did so well. You can talk about it like in years past, but you also have to be about it. And this Alabama team is truly about their roles and buying into what's best for the team.
All right, tomorrow afternoon, Nebraska and Texas, a howitzer of a game. 7 Eastern, ESPN, Texas Tech, UCLA. The World Series continues tomorrow. For now, we get you to MVP boxing.